If you're watching this from the safety of your home, understand this. There are politicians and news outlets encouraging people to go out and put themselves in harm's way with hot tempers on both sides and federal agents armed to the teeth, and this is being encouraged. I just think in decades past, everything that these protesters are being encouraged to do, we were being discouraged to do when we were protesting. It just seems like a perfect example of people taking sides, and the only difference that I can see is race.
And his policies. News Nation's Ryan Bash joins us from downtown Tampa, where some of those protests are planned for today. And Ryan, today's walkouts are expected across all 50 states. What are demonstrators hoping for here?
Marky, they're asking people to literally just walk out of work, walk out of school, don't shop, all in protest to President Trump's first year back in office. It is a coordinated nationwide call to action with 5 walkouts planned across the Tampa Bay area, including here behind me at Tampa's downtown City Hall. Now, this is going to be happening later on today. So 2 p.m. local time from coast to coast across the country is when these protests are going to be taking place. They are asking people to step away from their daily routines as part of what's called the Free America movement. Their slogan is, "In the face of fascism, we will be ungovernable." Organizers say they're protesting ICE raids, police and policies targeting immigrants and trans people, and increased government surveillance, using disruptions to force the administration to try and pay attention.
Wow, he shut off a list of disadvantaged and potentially abused people at the hands of the law, and he didn't say anything about black people. I mean, damn. That's kind of hard to believe that trans people are in the conversation and we're not. It's hard to believe illegal immigrants are in the conversation and we're not. And we support this shit. We allow our politicians to guide us in this damn direction, and we support it. And we get out there and feel bad when the poor lady in Minnesota gets shot in the face and she made a choice to go out there and be in them streets, maneuvering her car around armed police officers. It's a choice when you go out there like that and do what that poor lady did. And you can get pumped up to go out and protest, to get involved politically, to get involved socially, to want to be a part of your community and let those people who you see every day in your community, or who may be cutting your grass, cleaning your house, you want them to know that you support them. I get it. But where's the love? This is almost becoming personal for me. Like, damn. I hear people just crying tears. You go in the supermarket, everybody's talking about it. The poor lady in Minnesota. The poor lady in Minnesota. She's not the only person an ICE agent has killed. And there's been no investigation. Is it only a particular criteria you have to meet? It's pretty crazy. And it's scary if you're black and you hear people crying real tears about something that you've been living your whole life. No matter what level, state, federal, local, security guards, night watchmen, anybody has a indifference toward us, and it's so obvious and it's so clear, and I don't understand it, and I would like to know, where does this sympathy and that heartfelt pain come from, and the ability to have to organize something. And I know that the politicians are doing it to get ready to win some seats back and to keep you guys tuned in, keep you on the edge of your seats. They cannot break your attention by letting you go back to your lives. You might disengage and be like, they ain't going to let that happen. You got to stay engaged. You have to stay pumped. You have to stay motivated. And you have to stay risking your life and because they haven't done their job. They should do a way better thing at their job. When the public gets out there, it should be on their own. That's when it spills into the streets, and it's because neither party can control them. Neither party has any kind of plan that's making any sense, and people pour out into the streets and start doing crazy things. And then all of a sudden, you wonder, well, shit. If the politicians are encouraging people to go out into the streets and risk potential violence, potential harm, potential murder, that just sounds like they just ran out of ideas. They just ran out of things to do. I would hold a rally that I headed, that I was at the beginning and the end of, so that I could make sure everybody came safe and left safe, and that we stayed on point and didn't badmouth or bash the other party or the opposition, but we talked about our ideas and talked about our problems and our plans. That's what we need to do when we get together, Democrats. But you guys really ain't got us in your plans. The only time we come up is when, here we are in the month of February, coming up here real soon. And Martin Luther King birthday. And you guys are staging walkouts on Martin Luther King birthday. Everybody should be off, but anyway. I mean, it's like, where are we going with this shit? Honestly. It's horrible that we're asked to participate on any level and to not be acknowledged when we were going through this exact same day. I think that's what most people are going through who are black. I think they kind of looking around because they hearing things that sound so familiar to them, but they've never heard it come from so many different people, different colors of people, different races. And they're saying things, and black people are looking around and going, maybe they really weren't listening. Maybe they really weren't paying attention when we've been crying the exact same thing that they are crying right now. The exact verbatim. No different. Isn't that weird?
More than 850 walkout events are planned across all 50 states. Organizers say over 42,000 people have signed up for these rallies, from Tampa and Los Angeles' city halls to New York's Bryant Park. Now, this is intentionally a workday protest meant to interrupt normal life, not just draw a crowd. It also comes after the shooting death of Renee Good by an ICE agent in Minneapolis, a case organizers have said has become a rallying point for the organization.
And it should be. But there are other people who've died at the hands of ICE agents. And especially the young man in California, Keith Porter Jr. He died at the hands of an off-duty police officer and no investigation was done. Just on the strength that police officer was off-duty on New Year's Eve, it's a potential or a higher potential or probability that he could have been consuming alcohol. I mean, God damn it. Let's be reasonable here. But the young lady Good in Minnesota as well, though. They both deserve investigations for whatever reason, whatever that we might already have drawn the conclusions in our head. Definitely an investigation is in order, and a thorough one. And do it like you always do. When a black person gets shot in the streets and the feds come in, usually the state and local cops go, hey, hands off, it's out of our hands. The feds have taken it over, and we just have to live with that. We just have to roll with it. And it should be the same way you handle these type of things than you have before. Everybody acts like this is unprecedented. As terrible as it is, the sad part is it isn't unprecedented. The shit is happening way too often, but now it's happening to people who apparently are neighbors and our friends and our coworkers and people we thought cared about us didn't really care about us that much, or they weren't listening to us because they're saying exactly what we've been saying. And it's like they're saying it to us. Like, we didn't say that to you before. Like, you didn't hear those words out of us. But you expect us to, like, put everything aside. No, come on now. Black popcorn, it's not about you this time. I mean, it's the illegal immigrants. You guys have had your civil rights fight. You're good, dude. No, we're not. We're not. That's the problem. Everybody wants to tell us we're good. Let us tell you when we're good. Let us tell have the thermometer pop up and when we're done, and we'll let you know.
Events that are happening from coast to coast today. Now, the Women's March, one of the groups that is behind today's action, say these walkouts, Marky, are not just happening domestically, they're also global, saying events are planned in Canada, France, Italy, as well as the Netherlands. Marky?
Yeah, busy day ahead. And Ryan, with tensions still high around immigration protests, are officials worried that these walkouts could turn violent?
So at this point, Marky, officials say that they are expecting peaceful protests, and the Women's March says that it has a clear nonviolence policy in place for these.
Well, that was a really good question. Are they expecting violence? And that answer was dumb as hell. They have a clear no violence policy. I mean, it's like, really? Hey, anybody coming out here causing trouble, get out of line right now. Please. It's ridiculous. And the unfortunate part is some of those people probably will throw things or do things just on the spur of the moment. They may really not have that in their heart. But that mob mentality, get around a whole bunch of folks and start doing things just because the mob is doing that and you're a part of it, and end up breaking the law or losing your life as a result of that. And that's the part that bothers me the most, is that for the exact same, and I'm talking, and to be honest with you, the Renee Good lady was actually moving and operating that vehicle. And I just think of that gentleman, Philando Castile, who was shot. And he just was telling the police officer that he was a licensed carry. And the police officer, don't reach for your gun, and started freaking out. But give me your license. But don't reach for your gun, but give me your license. And he was confusing them and bow. And those are the same arguments I'm hearing for this lady. And it's just like the law has been so messed up toward us. But apparently the people we share this country with are cool with it. They get it. And they okay with it. And it's falling on deaf ears when we scream and holler and cry and, I guess, in their opinion, whine. They don't want to hear that shit. They like, oh boy, oh, quit selling crack. They got all kind of, what things we could do to make the police leave us alone. Hey, quit running from them. Comply. Not so much resistance. Don't curse at them. All the things that we see now that is acceptable to be done. And mayors of cities are leading those charges. And news report. Well, who could get the word out better than a news team? A biased way, obviously. Just like on the right. Biased as hell. But that's what we got to deal with. To the point of where we don't mean very much to them, where they're willing to take their constituents, their voters, and put them in harm's way.
Events happening all across the country. But we all remember last summer's No Kings demonstrations. They drew an estimated 5 million people nationwide. Most were peaceful, but in a few cities like Los Angeles, Ocala, Florida, and then Culpeper, Virginia, clashes led to arrests, serious injuries, and in one case, there was a death. Officials stress that those incidents were the exception, not the norm. Organizers say today is a test, Marky, of whether or not these weekday workouts and walkouts can actually apply some real pressure to the Trump administration as they enter year 2 here of President Trump back in office.
Man, I sure would hate to see something break out as a result of them toying with this volatility of what could potentially happen here. This is a very serious situation for people. It's their livelihoods. They've taken everything they had and brought it over here or left it behind to start a life in a country with a bunch of politicians on both sides who aren't serious. They want to use the immigration issue as a campaign leverage or for leverage for their campaigns. And we get caught in the middle. And it looks racist as hell when somebody be like not caring too much about the illegal immigrants or, kind of not as interested as other people or as engaged. But some people really have issues going on as far as generational wealth, the ability to open a business. And you don't even have an idea what kind of business, but just to own something one day. the ability to buy a home, the ability to go to work and not have cliques and folks against you, or folks riding your back and making you do more than others. And you don't know if it's because you're black or because they don't like you or your personality or what it is. But when you are black, that is something that has to be considered in a lot of cases. And unfortunately, people now think, oh, no, that don't happen no more. Oh, you guys are good in the workplace. You guys are good. And then some new young white kid comes in, and in a couple of years, he's your boss. And everybody in the workplace doesn't bat an eye. They think it's normal. They think that's the way the order of things. That's the way it goes. And it isn't. And it shouldn't be. And we all need to do different. Everybody has to do different. And I don't understand why we can't. And it's obvious, folks. The Democrats are definitely in 2026 midterm mode. We know what's going on there. But they're emotional because they want to win. They just can't wait to have a majority so they can start impeaching Trump and slowing down his presidency and his agenda. And if they're voted back in, then that's the way the country voted, and that's what's meant to happen. And we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But in the meantime, we need to think about our safety. We need to think about these protests, and we need to think about having them fairly, implementing protests and planning protests fairly. If a person in Florida gets killed and they happen to be black, it needs to be looked into. But if they're policing in Florida like they're policing in Arizona, and they're policing in Wyoming and California and all these states, their policing is very consistent, especially if you're black, then we got a problem. And it's one of those problems where we should have walkouts and protests and people standing up across the nation, letting them know black people are a part of our country. They're citizens of our country. And you ain't going to be beating on them and killing them and getting away with it and not having investigations. And I really do believe, and I will say it again and again, that Keith Porter Jr. should automatically have a federal case and investigation opened up on his shooting death because he's African American. And now things are starting to leak out about the off-duty ICE officer, and some of that stuff may not even be true. But if it is, we got problems, and it needs to be looked into. I think Renee Good is going to be like her last name, Good. She got a lot of support. It's not about what she did wrong or if she did anything wrong or any of that kind of stuff. We've moved beyond that. Everybody is ready to see this cop prosecuted for something and found guilty and given a whole lot of years or something. And it's just that we've seen this movie before, just with a different lead actor in that seat. And we didn't get this same response. And I think everybody needs to just slow down a little bit. And if you can't remember off the top of your head because you probably weren't locked in, because it probably didn't mean that much to you, because you didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it, just go on YouTube or go Google something or go to your AI program and look up black men killed. You know, and the farther back you go, the more gruesome it is. And in some cases, the law might not even got to them first. The town did. But, I mean, it's been going on for way too long. And I think to the point of where it doesn't really bring out the emotion in people like it should. And it is a damn shame when it don't bring out the right emotion in black people, to where you see black people out in the streets risking their life for a group of people who are a part of a movement that is moving the needle, that has split police departments, that have politicians at each other's throat. That's unprecedented. And it's something that we need to pay attention to and not just get left behind. That's not going to happen. It's unacceptable. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. We'll see you on the next Black Popcorn.